Hi, Ben Fire. This is Pablo Gomez with Rebound Physical Therapy. I know most of you by now. Welcome to your virtual drop-in sessions. So basically the reason why we're doing these videos is obviously we have a pandemic going on, so getting large groups together is kind of hard, but also just the fact that you guys have really tough schedules also makes videos a good way for us to communicate with you guys, get you guys exercises, and let you guys do some self-screen stuff. That being said, this isn't going to take place of drop-in clinic at all, so drop-in clinic is still going to be happening. So every Wednesday from 11 to noon, we're still going to be plugging that. These videos are a good way for us to remind you again that you need to get in for drop-ins. If you don't have my number or email, we're going to put that up on the screen here for you, hopefully. We'll give you lots of reminders on how to get in touch for drop-in. These videos are not going to take place of, if you have pain, if you have an injury, you're still going to try to get in to see me. The goal here is that you guys have some tools to not only treat yourselves, but also do a little bit of self-assessment. So some of the videos are going to be self-assessment, where you're going to actually be able to do some tests and figure out whether you should be coming in to drop in and see me, or whether maybe you should just be following the videos to try to make yourself feel a little bit better. So the way the videos are broken up, they're going to be broken up into 3 different parts. We're going to talk about mobility, which is basically just moving better. We're going to talk about stability, which is more of building strength around an area, so long duration holds. And then we're going to move into more functional movement patterns, which is going to be more of functional capacity, so letting you guys be able to move within those patterns. If you guys have any questions or suggestions on what you want to see, what we could do different in these videos, we'd love to hear it. Get in touch with me, pgomez@reboundoregon.com, and enjoy your videos. I hope they help. Hi, Ben Fire, Pablo Gomez again. Welcome to your first video, which is going to be on shoulder and thoracic spine health. And the reason why we lump these two together, I wanted to go through real quick. So shoulder health and thoracic spine health pretty much go hand in hand. And so just for a little demo for you, we'll use Dalton here. We're going to bring him over here, and we're going to make him have really bad posture and basically put his thoracic spine into lots of flexion. And we're going to have him try to raise his arm. And we don't get very far with that, right? So the thoracic spine posture has a lot to do with how your shoulder moves. So we're going to bring that down again. And if I take him into a better posture, so this is a better posture, but also from PT speak, this is much better thoracic extension. So by giving him thoracic extension, then all of a sudden I've given him much better shoulder mobility. The other thing we can add to that is if I bring him up and then I rotate him, so maybe have him look to that side, then we get even better shoulder mobility. So those are the ways in which shoulder mobility is impacted by what's going on in the thoracic spine, what's going on in the rib cage, and what's going on in the scapula. So that's the reason why we're kind of lumping this all together. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is we're going to do basically what we're considering a self-screen. So I'm going to give you guys 3 tests to do on your own. If you have pain with them, if you feel really limited with them, if you feel other issues with them, then that's a good indication that you need to get in and see me for drop-ins. If you can go through them, maybe you feel a little bit tight, then the video series is a good way for you to work through that and hopefully self-treat yourself. So the first test is going to be called a back-to-wall shoulder flexion test. So you're going to find yourself a wall. I'm going to put Dalton into a little bit of a squat here. I want his back to be flat along the wall the entire time. So he's going to have his back completely flat on the wall. Elbows are going to be straight. And then he is going to try to get his thumbs to the wall without his low back coming up off of the wall. He does a pretty good job with that. A lot of you guys are going to be here. So I want you guys to judge this, maybe use a partner. So if you can't get to your ears, if you can't get your bicep past your ear, then that's a pretty limited test, okay? That's maybe an indication that there's something going on. If you get between your ear and the wall, then that's a little bit less of a negative test, a little bit less of a concern. And again, if you can touch your thumb to the wall, then you're doing pretty good with that, okay? Come on up here. So second test we're going to do is basically called a self-impingement test. So this is Similar to some of the tests that the doctors and myself will take you through for what's called a shoulder impingement. And basically what you're gonna do is you're going to cover your shoulder with your hand, and then I want you to just lift and try to take your elbow up towards your ear. If that's pretty free movement and pain-free, then that's a good sign. If you're getting a pinch on top of the shoulder, that's a dysfunctional shoulder and something we want to address, okay? And then the third self-test we're gonna go through is basically just a self-assessment of shoulder internal, external rotation. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna make a fist, Dalton. Cover your thumb actually with that fist, and then you're gonna take one arm up, one arm back. You're gonna try to touch your fists together, okay? Again, this is a good one for a partner, so I want you to use a fist or a hand. If you're one hand away, then that's pretty normal. If you're more than one hand away, obviously depends on whose hand, but for the most part, if you're more than one hand away, then that's pretty limited test. And then he's gonna do the other side. You guys will find that you have a stiff side. So he's pretty limited here. And we know Dalton's an old baseball player, so he's probably got a lot of shoulder internal rotation stiffness. So again, this just gives us some information. Okay. This doesn't actually tell us what's going on with your shoulder, but it gives us an indication that you probably need to see myself or see somebody else if you have pain or severe limitations with these. If you feel pretty good with those, if you feel light stiffness, move yourself onto the rest of the video, and I think it should help.
So we're moving into the correctives portion for shoulder health. We're gonna start with our mobility. The first exercise is called the T-spine extension on box or bench. Dalton here is going to demonstrate coming up to a bench, knees at 90. You're gonna sit your hips all the way back, taking the low back out of this. And we're working on here. So we're taking a big inhale on that exhale, trying to drop the sternum down and getting this nice extension. Okay, so big inhale, exhale. If this is an easy movement, the closer the elbows together are, the better the stretch. We're gonna do 3 sets, 10 reps of this exercise. Again, focusing on this upper part of the spine. If you get any shoulder pain, so any pinching up on the shoulders, if you slightly push down into the elbows against the bench, it'll take away that pain and ease off on the range of motion. That's 10 sets. Nice, Dalton. So once you're done with your sets of this, we're gonna move into something called a shoulder car. Thank you. Shoulder cars, step cars on all fours. The focus here is the shoulder blade. So working the shoulder blade in all of its ranges of motion. We're gonna break this up into 4 movement patterns and 2 blocks. The first one is going to be a push and a pull. So pushing that hands against the ground, pushing the spine up through there, and then pulling those shoulder blades together. Again, push, 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 push. Give me a little more, there it is, good. And then pulling those shoulder blades together. Okay. The second patterns that are here is hips and then ears, so dropping those shoulders down to the hips and then elevating them all the way up to the ears. So dropping down to the hips, elevating up to the ears. Okay. Once you have these movement patterns figured out, so the push, the pull, the up, and the down, we're going to combine them into circles. You can go any direction, so clockwise or counterclockwise, moving through those rotations all the way up. So we've got push, ears, pull, hips, push, ears, pull, hips. Find a neutral pattern, switch directions. Good, all the way through. If this feels too advanced, if you can't get that full range of motion, if you sit your hips all the way back here, bring your hands up closer to the knees. This unloads the hands, makes it slightly easier. So then you can practice that range of motion with less load. If this feels way too easy, if you elevate the knees off the ground and go into a bear hold, that adds more weight to the shoulders. Okay, we're gonna do 3 sets, 10 reps on this. Good, challenging. Remember, slow, controlled, getting that full pattern. All right, go ahead and rest for me. Last exercise in our mobility portion for shoulder health is going to be rainbow reaches. With rainbow reaches, all you need is a wall or a surface they can use as a guide. You're gonna come up to in a half kneeling pattern with the down knee against the wall. We're gonna take the inside arm palm in, and we're going to move in a rainbow kind of reaching pattern, so all the way up and around, looking for the rotation here with the spine. Come on, back up. Good. So think about tucking that tailbone in, squeezing the back glute. Good. Keeping this hip pointed in and a little squeeze on the inner thigh, and then rotate through, letting this all come from the torso and not from the pelvis. How's that paint smell for you? Good, all the way up and through. 2 sets, 10 reps. You are gonna do this on both sides. Go ahead and switch sides just so we can see the comparison on each side. Good, so he's tucking his tailbone, nice long spine here. Keeping that hip pointed forward so his glute is on in the back leg. Reaching up and over. If you do this and you feel any pinching or pulling in here, stop at that area. There, take a big breath, big exhale. If you can't get out of that pinching, don't go beyond it. I do not want you to push through pain. Go ahead and take a rest. Once you're done with the mobility portion, we're gonna move into our stability portion. The stability involves a little bit more weights and some more holds. The first one we're gonna do here is something called a Kettlebell Arm Bar. You're gonna need a light weight, and I mean 4-6 pounds at max. You're gonna be on the side of the body. This is all about intrinsic control, so slow control of tiny muscles. If you use a big weight, the big muscles will turn on and the little muscles won't. You're gonna be on your side, knees up to chest to make sure the low back isn't involved. And then we're gonna take that arm, so kettlebell, here, I'll just give you that kettlebell. Okay? Kettlebell is gonna go up straight to the side, okay? So from here, staying on the side, we're gonna work shoulder. So shoulder is gonna go down away from the ear. Oh, that's a good shake for him. There, keeping it. Knuckles towards the sky, so we're not creating any wrist fatigue. And then from here, letting that weight carry his shoulder down. He's gonna exhale, letting that shoulder drop until he feels a little bit of tension, and then he's gonna push up towards it. Coming down and away, feeling that engagement in the side of the body. You need to do these more. And then drop down on that shoulder, kind of pull in. Do not force this. This should be done with gravity. Just the weight of this and you releasing against that weight. Give me 2 more. We're gonna do 2 sets, 2 fatigue. So fatigue, muscle up in the upper neck starts to get really tight, or you start to feel it. That's fatigue pattern. Shoulder starts to shake a lot. That's a fatigue pattern. Any kind of pain involved with this would be fatigue. So you're gonna stop there. Again, doing this on both sides. If you find one side weaker than the other, you're gonna start with that weaker side. Once you've opened up and started to engage the shoulders, we're gonna move into a plank shoulder taps. This is more of a holistic shoulder exercise. It also involves the core. You're gonna be in a straight arm plank position. Good, with legs slightly wider than usual. Drawing the elbows and hips up and weight back into the heels. From here, lifting one hand up nice and slow, tap the other shoulder. Good. The goal is to try to do this without any shifting, keeping it nice and balanced. Core is engaged, hips are lifted, and we're tapping one shoulder, then the other. The slower you do this, the more work you're gonna get, the more engagement you're gonna get. And we're gonna do this 3 sets, 10 reps total, so it'll be 5 on each side. Take a break, do another rep. All the way through, good. Make sure to watch those hips. We're keeping that nice little lift, a little tuck. Pushing the chest forward slightly, good, chin's tucked. There we go, now your back's off. Now try to tap. Better. Good. If you find yourself shifting too much, go wider with the stance. It gives you a little bit better advantage. Right? If you're doing this and it's way too hard, you're finding yourself shifting too much, you get low back pain, you're gonna elevate this and do it onto a bench. Same exercise, same engagement, just now you're gonna have more success, less pain. That wide stance, lifting through that low back, shoulders away, chest pushing forward, and then tapping from there. Okay, again, 3 sets, 10 reps. The last part of our stability is something called a waiter's carry. Can you waiter carry with this 6-pound?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
The right side.
On your good side? Yeah. Okay. So waiter carry, small kettlebell again, and I mean small, again, 6 pounds max. Going 2, 4 along that. From here, I'm gonna actually have you do the side so they can see this. You're going to hold that kettlebell. We're gonna go bottoms up. We're gonna start with that nice squeeze to the bottom, and then we're gonna lift the elbow up, trying to drop out of the neck. Okay? You should feel a lot of this engagement around that shoulder blade. Relax out of here. There we go, good. Squeezing the elbow in slightly. You're gonna feel shakiness. Okay? You're gonna hold this, and then you're gonna walk. Okay? You're gonna walk about 5, 10 yards, wherever your space is. We're going to fatigue. So fatigue, again, is gonna be, can't get out of the shoulder. The shoulder keeps tensing on you. And it may even be like Dalton here, where he just stands there and practices keeping out of that shoulder. If you can't do that, then we'll go to a smaller weight. So here, squeezing in. Oh, that's better. Now he's out of that neck. You can focus on the shoulder. The fatigue will happen through the shoulder. So we're gonna do 3 reps to fatigue. Nice, keep practicing on dropping that down. Trying to have the elbow in, so you're pointing the elbow straight in front of you. Torso stays forward as well, so we're closing off. Okay, 3 sets, each side to fatigue. Go ahead and rest. Starting to get the fatigue on that one. Awesome. So that's the stability portion. Once you're done with stability, we're now open, and now you're activated. We're going to test all of this with more strength exercises or functional exercises. We're starting with a half landmine. This setup can be done really simply with a plate. If you have one of these, you're just gonna put a barbell in there. If you don't have one of these, you can take this out and just put the barbell into the plate, and it works just fine. Going half kneeling. Okay, the barbell, you're gonna hold on the barbell. The closer in you are, the less weight. The further out, the more it's gonna be. From here, ribs pull in, low back comes in. If you're slightly shifted forward, that's fine as long as the glutes are on. Elbow comes in, and we're gonna point that line straight up as you reach overhead, pushing through that reach, getting that length all the way through the side, and then slow control back down, drawing that elbow in, trying to draw a straight line. 2 sets, 10 reps each side. Again, focusing on the rib flare, so you're not in a place where you're extending through that low back, and you're extending through the rib cage and through that shoulder blade. If the barbell is too much weight, again, snug yourself up a little bit. The closer you get to that bar, the lighter it is. You can also have someone assist with just a light little lift through this. Good. This is easy. You can always load weight onto this, but remember, slow and controlled. This isn't so much about building muscle as it is about controlling the function of that shoulder, making sure you're not in your neck all the way through. Awesome. Go ahead and take a break. Nice and safe as you come out of this. Okay. From here, we're gonna go into a dumbbell row with a twist. Let's move this around here. So we're gonna do a dumbbell row from a bird dog position, which means that one leg will be extended out. There we go, good. So the side of the body that is rowing is supported by the leg. The opposite side is extended out. Again, spine is important, making sure you're lifting through that low back. This arm is not sagging, it's not up in your neck, so draw it back and away. Good, and then slow and control from here. We pull down through the shoulder blade, and you're pulling your elbow into the side of that rib cage till you hit that end point, and then slow and control all the way back down. Trying to stay out of this neck and out of these big muscles here that cause all that pain. Slow and controlled. This adds a level of balance. If you're losing your balance to this, go down with the weight, go lighter with the weight. On this, 2 sets, 10 reps each side. Take a break, make sure you're doing the other side and then coming back to this side. Slow, controlled. big thing I see a lot of times, row past your midpoint, is I see this where people row past that midpoint, that shoulder drops down. This is actually gonna create more pressure here, so make sure you're stopping at the midline of your body, not going past. Nice and controlled, you'll get this squeeze on the side of the body. Oh yeah, nice and slow. Yeah, good. And relax. Again, switching sides, taking a break. The last exercise in our functional movement for shoulder health is something called a half kneeling lift. We're gonna do this with a dumbbell so it can be done anywhere. Again, lighter the weights. This is not about heavy lifting, this is about function and form. So lightweight, we have a 20-pound weight here. You're gonna grab onto it with both sides. Half kneel position, hips are pointed straight forward, legs are squeezing in. Remember, tucking that tailbone, engaging that back glute muscle, trying not to get the ribs to flare. From here, we lift up from the side, rotate, twisting the torso till the dumbbell's overhead, and then slow control back down. Really wanna watch for is not letting yourself shift into this hip. Go ahead. As you go, good. To compensate for that lack of range of motion. Good. Up and controlled. Again, the modification for this is going lower with the weights. You can also start this pattern with no weights, so using a dowel or using a band with a little bit of tension and just practicing that rotation and that lift all the way through. This 2 sets, 15 reps. That rep count is higher, so go lower with the weights. Go ahead and try it on the other side just so they can see it. Is this your harder side? Yeah, okay. Lift. Good. Lift all the way up. Awesome. Go ahead and take a rest. So that finishes our corrective exercises for shoulder health.